Tonight's story is Lumi and the Quiet Land of Dreams by Kids Bedtime Stories. Far from here, beyond the border of an ordinary day, past the place where thoughts come to an end, there exists the quiet land of stars. You cannot walk there. You cannot ride there. You can only arrive when your eyes are closed and your heart and mind are ready for sleep. But before we begin this story, pause for a moment. Take a slow breath, then another one, and one more, because this story does not run. It flows as slowly as the night that gently covers the world. The quiet land was unlike any other place. There was no noise. There was no hurry. There were no loud sounds. The sky was the color of deep navy mixed with milk. The stars did not flicker nervously. They breathed slowly, calmly. The ground was soft, as if it were always slightly warm. The trees leaned low, as though they wanted to hug everyone who passed by. The rivers did not splash. They whispered. Each one knew a different lullaby. And the wind knew the names of all the children, every single one, without exception. At the very heart of the quiet land lived Lumi. Lumi was a small rabbit, not white, not gray. His fur was the color of morning mist, light, soft, gently silvery. His eyes were large and calm, as if they always knew that everything would turn out just fine. And on his chest, exactly where the heart beats, glowed a small, warm patch of light. It was the light of sleep. Lumi did not like to run fast. He preferred to hop slowly. He liked to pause, to listen, to wait, because Lumi was the guardian of dreams. He helped every child fall asleep, without exception. Every bad dream he turned into a good one. He helped all thoughts drift away, so the night could be peaceful. Lumi's burrow was charming, though very simple. Its entrance looked like a small half-round gate, surrounded by soft moss and flowers that leaned gently toward the doorway. Inside, it was warm and safe, and it smelled pleasantly of earth and morning mist. On the floor lay a small, thick rug of grass that hugged Lumi's paws, and along the walls stood tiny wooden furniture, everything just the way he liked it. In the center, directly beneath a round window where starlight streamed in, Lumi had his favorite place to sit and watch over the quiet land. Every night, when the human world grew quiet, sleepy sparks appeared in the clearing beside Lumi's burrow. They were tiny, like drops of light, like thoughts that had not yet decided what they would become. each spark was a dream, not yet finished, not yet complete. Lumi, they whispered, will you help us tonight too? Lumi always answered the same way. Of course, always. Before Lumi set out on his nightly journey, he always did the same thing. Not because he had to, but because the night liked rituals. Lumi stepped out of his burrow very slowly. He stopped at the threshold and listened for a moment. He listened to see whether the quiet land was breathing evenly, whether the wind was not in too much of a hurry, whether the stars were shining calmly, not nervously. Then Lumi sat down on the soft ground and closed his eyes. Not completely, just a little. That was enough. He listened to dreams, not all at once, only to those that called the most quietly, because dreams never shout, they ask. As Lumi listened closely, he began to feel a gentle vibration in his chest. It was the light of sleep telling him where he was needed that night. Only then did Lumi look at the sleepy sparks. Each one glowed differently, some calmly, others uncertainly, some barely visible at all. Lumi walked among them slowly, like a gardener checking flowers before nightfall. He did not fix, he did not hurry, he simply was. Sometimes one spark trembled more than the others. Then Lumi bent down. I see you, he whispered. It's okay. We'll go soon. When everything was ready, Lumi straightened his ears and the light on his chest grew warmer. That was the sign. The night could begin. When the night was finally ready to begin, Lumi did not move right away. He stood in the clearing for a moment longer, as if allowing the silence to settle in completely. The sleepy sparks floated peacefully around him, as if they knew there was no need to rush now. The first dream of the night was always chosen with special care, because the first dream opened the door. It determined whether the night would be gentle, whether it would have soft edges and a warm center. Lumi did not look for the loudest dream. He did not choose the one that shone the brightest. He waited for the one that was ready. One of the sparks moved almost imperceptibly. It did not shine brighter than the others. It did not tremble more. It simply did not pull away, as if it were saying, "You can go now." Lumi leaned forward slightly. His long ears lifted, and the light on his chest grew soft and deep, like a breath just before sleep. "All right," he whispered. "We'll start with you." The spark answered with a quiet pulsing, not joy, not fear. Readiness. Lumi turned toward the human world. The border between the lands was thin, like mist above water. On one side, the quiet land of stars breathed calmly. On the other, the night was still learning how to become a dream. Lumi took his first step, then a second, and then another. Each one was unhurried, each one was sure. And at that exact same moment, in one of the quiet rooms where the day had not yet fully let go, a girl named Emily had been lying in her bed for a very long time and still could not fall asleep. The room was quiet, so quiet that the gentle ticking of a clock could be heard, and the very soft hum of the world beyond the window. The blanket was familiar, soft, it smelled like home, and yet sleep would not come. Emily turned onto her side, then onto the other, then back onto her back again. She closed her eyes, opened them, closed them again. Her head was full of thoughts, not bad ones, not scary ones, just too loud. One thought said, "What will happen tomorrow?" Another reminded her of something that had happened long ago and wasn't important at all, but stubbornly kept returning. The third thought was like a question without an answer. Emily sighed softly, so quietly that no one would hear. "I want to sleep," she thought. "I really want to." But her body did not yet know how to stop. Her legs were tired, her arms were tired, her eyelids were heavy, but her heart was beating a little too fast. Emily placed her hand on her chest. She felt the gentle thump, thump, thump. "Calm down," she said in her thoughts. But the heart does not always listen right away. Stuffed animals stood in the room. They watched patiently. They were already asleep. The night lamp cast a soft light on the wall. The shadows looked like peaceful hills. And yet, something inside Emily was still tense, as if the day had not quite ended yet, as if the night had arrived too soon. In the quiet land of stars, one sleepy spark trembled more than the others. "She is really trying," it whispered, "but she doesn't know how to let go of the day yet." Lumi listened carefully. He saw Emily exactly as she was, tired, kind, ready for sleep, but not yet ready for silence. "That's all right," Lumi said gently. "Everyone needs help sometimes." Lumi began to move slowly. He did not run. He did not leap high. Every movement he made was calm, as if he himself were part of a lullaby. The sleepy sparks flowed behind him, and their light grew warmer and warmer. The closer they came to the human world, the softer the night became. When they reached Emily's window, Lumi stopped. He sat down quietly, very quietly, because sleep never comes when someone makes noise. Lumi watched. He did not judge. He did not correct. He did not rush. He saw Emily's brow wrinkle slightly. He saw her fingers clutch the corner of the blanket. He saw her breath quicken at times. She is still listening to the world, he thought. Let us help her hear the silence. The first spark drifted down very slowly. It did not touch Emily. It stopped just above her chest. It glowed in a rhythm, bright, softer, bright, softer. Emily's breathing began to match it. Inhale, exhale. Not because Emily tried to. It was simply easier that way. The second spark brought an image. A warm beach, soft sand, the sun setting, expecting nothing at all. Emily stopped fidgeting. Her shoulders dropped. Her hands relaxed. The third spark was the most delicate. It touched Emily's thoughts and whispered, "That's enough. Today, you did everything you could. The rest can wait until tomorrow." The thoughts began to move apart, one by one, like little clouds. Emily lay completely still, not because anyone told her to, not because she was trying. Simply, her body found comfort on its own. The blanket was exactly where it should be. The pillow gently supported her head. The mattress quietly received the weight of the tired day. Emily was breathing. Inhale, slow, as if the air had nowhere to hurry. Exhale, even slower, as if everything unnecessary could calmly drift away. She did not need to do anything anymore, fix anything, understand anything. First, her feet rested. Her toes grew warm. Then, her calves rested, her knees, her thighs, as if her legs were slowly sinking into the softness of the bed, as if the bed were saying, "I've got you. You can trust me." Emily's belly rose and fell gently. Each breath was a little slower than the one before. Her shoulders dropped. They no longer had to carry anything. They no longer had to be brave. Her hands relaxed on their own. Her fingers let go of the day. Emily's thoughts were still there, but they were no longer loud. One drifted by slowly, like a leaf on water. Another was so quiet it could barely be heard. The third dissolved before it could fully form. Emily did not try to hold them. She did not try to push them away. She simply allowed them to drift off, the way night allows the day to leave. The sleepy sparks floated above Emily. They did not touch her. They did not shine brightly. Their light was soft, warm, almost invisible. One spark moved in rhythm with Emily's breath. Another rocked gently like a cradle. The third kept watch. Together they whispered with one voice, "You don't have to do anything. Everything is all right. Sleep is already here." Emily was still here, but also a little somewhere else. The sounds of the world grew distant. The clock ticked more softly. The night outside the window became gentle. Her body felt heavy, but in a good way, like when you fall asleep on the couch and someone covers you with a blanket. Emily's eyelids lowered even more. The muscles in her face relaxed. Her forehead smoothed. Her lips parted slightly, as if they wanted to say good night, but no longer needed to. If any thought appeared, it was like an echo, far away, unimportant. Emily was safe, warm, calm, breathing, slow, steady. Inhale, like a wave that comes in. Exhale, like a wave that goes out. And again, and once more. Somewhere between one breath and the next, Emily stopped being alert. She did not notice the moment when she fell asleep, because sleep does not arrive suddenly. It simply is. The sleepy sparks slowly rose higher. Their light became part of the dream. Lumi looked once more. He smiled. "You're asleep now," he whispered, "and everything is exactly as it should be." Emily slept deeply, quietly, safely. Lumi twitched his ears slightly. The light on his chest grew warmer. Emily sighed softly, but this time it was a sigh of relief. Her breathing was free now, calm, even. A gentle smile appeared on her face, the kind that comes only when someone feels truly safe. The sleepy sparks drifted upward. Their work was done. "Good night, Emily," Lumi whispered. "Sleep peacefully." Lumi paused for a moment on one of the soft paths of the quiet land of stars. He looked up at the sky. The stars shone calmly. Everything was in its place. "You know," he said softly, "Emily is not the only one. So many children in the world sometimes cannot fall asleep, not because they are doing something wrong, not because the night is bad. Simply, sometimes the day stays inside a little too long. There are children who are afraid of the dark, children who think too much, children who were very brave today and only now feel how tired they really are. that is all right. Lumi liked such children especially, not because the others mattered less, but because he knew how much they needed a moment of peace. Every night he visited different beds, different rooms, different dreams. He helped for as long as it was needed, sometimes very briefly, sometimes for a long time, because sleep comes when it is ready. Lumi smiled gently. I could tell you about all of them, he whispered. About the boy who didn't like silence, about the girl who was afraid of dreams, about the child who could only fall asleep when someone was nearby. But not tonight, because the night is already late and sleep is waiting. Tomorrow, Lumi added very softly, tomorrow I'll tell you another story. The sleepy sparks danced gently in the air as if agreeing. The quiet land of stars remained, and it will remain every night. And now, Lumi is here, sitting quietly, looking at you. He knows your name. He knows how you breathe. He knows you are safe. If your thoughts are still moving, that's all right. They will rest soon. Lumi stays for as long as needed. The sleepy sparks already know what to do. Your bed is a safe island. The blanket, a warm arm. The night, a friend. And the quiet land of stars is watching over you. Sleep, it's time. Good night.